in October, and I started the real estate.
Nice. Okay. Congrats. So, yeah. Big transition. What made you want to stay doing what you're doing?
It's a great question. I don't know.
You know, I also ran into him at
Keller Williams.
He got his license.
I also have my real estate license, so I've always kind of had the notion of maybe trying that out. But I used to work for a bigger bank, a U.S. bank, and then I kind of found my way over to Fairway Mortgage, and pretty happy with the setup there. So
nice.
I'm happy for the time being, but I'm always curious on the other side.
Yeah. Well, it's great you guys kind of joined together on this. This is kind of a typical thing, so that's why we always allow up to 3 people. I think you already talked about that. I told Jeff that. We always allow up to 3 people to get in on one of these programs. So yeah, I think you'll get a kick out of this. You'll like it a little bit more than probably what you've seen in the past.
Yeah, I'm definitely interested. Definitely.
Likewise, you guys get much.
Awesome. Well, we typically have a process prior to this type of meeting, which we skipped. So we're just gonna ask a couple questions, and we'll run through some stuff. We just want to get a gauge, kind of see where we're at.
Yeah. Okay.
Which we usually have people go through a less personal process, so you guys get us to go through. So I'll let Temple kind of take over from there, and then we'll jump into all the good stuff.
All right, sweet. So yeah, we just met. So I was just curious, like what drove you guys, motivated you guys to track us down to such a huge city like Kansas City and hike all the way up to the 6th floor?
Well, I met with Jeff, and who you met with.
Yeah.
And Jeff was actually going to be starting to work on my Facebook. It was one of the reasons to generate leads. He was going to do some Facebook stuff for me. And he basically just said, you know what, you probably need to go talk to this guy because I don't know everything about this right now.
Right.
So that's how I got your contact information. My fear was I didn't want to dump this money into it and, trying to figure it out and then it not work, So he said he recommended going directly to you.
Smart. I'll let you know something you already know. That we're not the only ad agency in Kansas City. So you're going to learn what makes us different. But yeah, just running Facebook ads really doesn't get the job done anymore. It used to. It's just a little bit more difficult now. So the process has to be more intricate. But we'll get into that.
Okay.
Absolutely. How long have you been in real estate?
I got my license October 1st.
Okay, congrats. Nice. Have you started out, got any closings yet from SOY?
Yeah, so I got, I closed 3 deals in November. I got another one closing this Friday.
Nice.
So my sphere of influence is where I'm getting all my business.
Mm-hmm.
But I also know that I need to figure out an outside source to make it a long-term, I don't want just friends and family. It'd be great, but I need to.
All right. So we're rock solid amount.
Yeah.
They're starting out.
Yeah.
That's a very good start for October.
Have you guys always worked together, or is this a newer?
So we're first just starting this.
Yeah.
Cool.
I'm familiar with the mortgage process and stuff like that. And I realized that I wanted to partner with somebody to help make it easier as far as starting out.
Yeah. Kind of grow together, so to speak. I mean, we both came from the internet lending world, so we have leads coming in all the time that you're working over the phone. Mm-hmm. We're now out in the retail world, so to speak, where we're generating our own business. So, and I've just started in this space within the last year, so we're kind of at the same point where we're trying to grow together, maybe,
Nice.
and develop a partnership that way. And really just find a way to do business.
Help each other out.
Help each other out and do more business.
Well, Irvin, here's what I know is that the actual agent, like the real estate, you're personable, right? That's how you do your thing. But at the end of the day, you're kind of just a guy on a cereal box. So that's why we allow people to partner up because all the magic happens on the back end. Can you get the loan? What different strings can you pull? So that's why we allow this type of partnership.
Right.
We get that. So kind of like us, you're going to see a lot of what we do, but to be honest, first of all, I hardly ever do meetings anymore. It's usually Temple and the team. So this is kind of a nice change of pace. But also I kind of see myself as just a guy on the front of the cereal box. So all the magic happens with Temple and everybody else under Temple. So I understand how this partnership will work for you guys. Sure.
Right.
But that's awesome that you guys are looking to grow together. It's a really good way to get off the ground.
Yeah.
So. Anyway, sorry.
No, absolutely. Congrats on those closings, by the way. That's pretty rare to see that with someone just starting out. Your network's strong for sure. What is the average market value you're working with?
Right now, I would say 300
Okay.
is about the average
Sweet spot.
price.
have you shopped around trying to find any lead gen sources to expand more later down this year?
So Zillow was an option. It's tough to get those good zip codes, to be that premier agent, I would say.
Pricey a little bit as well. I've dabbled in a little bit of realtor.com stuff.
Also familiar. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I've got, I've done that since October, I think is when I started with another guy in my office and had 2 deals out of it. I mean, nothing fantastic, but still enough to kind of keep you afloat, so to speak.
Sure.
100%. Yeah, you guys, you dabble with the big 3, which is good. So with our process, you'll see how we kind of expand on that a little bit better. Because they're off to a good start. There's just some systems that are lacking on the back end, as you already know. Yeah, without that said, that definitely helps. I just want to kind of know moving forward, just so we don't overwhelm you. What is it you actually want moving forward, closings per month, that you can handle, you're comfortable with, but still suits your lifestyle?
I mean, I want to grow it as fast as I can. I don't know. I mean, I would love to do 7 to 10 deals a month. Just one is just myself. And then if this actually works and we can ramp up more than that, we can expand then to get a little bit, more for sure.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Nice.
Sweet. Yeah, that answers everything. You're eager. You already got a strong personal skills, and I'm sure your selling skills are fantastic. You already got 4 closings already. So before coming up this Friday.
Right.
Without further ado, we could just get straight into it.
Yeah, we'll just jump into it. Cool.
Okay.
All right. Put together a little something for you here. By we, I mean like Temple put this together for you. I love it when people say, "Yeah, I really love what you're doing over there, Rob." I'm like, "Yeah, well, not really doing a whole lot over here, so we just gotta get into it." So 87, a lot of this information you might already know. And this is actually really exciting for you guys. If you've already looked into the Zillow thing, the realtor.com thing, already familiar with the process, I'm assuming, right? How it works, cool. So 87, this is gonna be the number. This is kind of a crazy statistic, I'm sure you know this, but the 13% that is not listed here are people that are making over $100,000 a year. I know you said you wanted 7 to 10 deals a month. What is your cut on that for the home value that you're working with?
So, like my net on that?
Yeah.
So I cap at 2.2 million. So all the volume after 2.2 million.
Okay. Cool. Awesome. All right. Well, we want to get you in that 13%. That's basically what we're getting at.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of different components to why 87% is from the National Association of Realtors usually kind of falls short, under 100,000. With the amount of abundance and homes being sold right now, I know in some areas you guys are probably noticing the market's changing. We're still in a great market here, which is great for us. But there's a lot of reasons that's happening, so we're going to show you that. But in this level of abundance, there's no reason why you should. Actually, almost every real estate agent here in Missouri or Kansas, not Kansas, but should be doing over 100,000. There's like no reason that they shouldn't be. But we're going to dive into that and why some people are kind of having a tough time with that. A lot of the components you're already familiar with. So why do you think that is from your personal experience?
A lot of them are full-time agents.
Yeah.
They just dabble, like 1 or 2 deals a year.
Okay.
Maybe do their mom's transaction, their,
Don't necessarily have a game plan in place as far as leads, really. I mean, a lack of leads. I mean, as Irvin was saying, friends and family only go so far.
I would hate to get a license to just do my family's too. Right. Yeah. That makes sense though. Yeah, I agree with you. It is usually the leads thing. And it's funny because that's usually, like I said, we've done enough of these to understand it is the lead scarcity. I mean, what does that term mean to you guys? Like in terms of lead scarcity, I know the problem is leads, but can you break that down? Like what exactly do you believe that's from? The leads.
Why? I mean, some people just don't know how. I mean, the resources to get them, to get the leads. And
the predictability.
Yeah, I mean, well, that and like,
Yeah, the predictability for me on my side of it is for sure. I mean, it came from a big bank that has endless leads, internet leads. I mean,
right.
People go
internet leads, right? Yeah.
So I mean, now I'm in a local market where I'm self-generating all of it. I mean, you just don't have that day-to-day lead coming in. So you got to find a way to create it.
And also too, where I came from, you would run through 1,000 leads and hope you converted one.
Yes.
And the conversion ratio is a
not that there's a right or wrong answer.
No,
really.
yeah,
Absolutely. And it didn't matter for that large. They spend $10 million a year plus on leads, which me as the worker, I mean, yeah, whatever. I don't care. I just need to convert that one, however many leads I need to grab. Well, now I'm my own person. I want that conversion ratio much, much higher because I'm buying the leads.
Yeah.
Security wants to spend the money.
Yeah. Makes a lot more sense. Yeah, when you're dealing with a big company like your Coca-Colas and your like companies that can spend, hundreds and thousands and crazy amounts of money a year, it's a different scenario because they already understand their back-end process, they know their follow-up sequences, they understand how they can still make the money on the back end. When we're starting out, it's not like that. Especially with us, we have a lot of systems in place because we understand that back-end revenue. When you're starting out, you need to be closing front-end revenue.
Yeah.
You can't let that stuff go. So yes, both good answers. Yes. So being consistent in closing, I mean, that's one thing. The lead sources is going to be a big part of that. You already know about Zillow, Realtor.com. The process we're going to show you here is basically going to combine the best of both worlds in what we do. We are really not focused on volume alone. That's like a dead model. And aggregators is kind of like a joke at this point. Whether you're working with directories or you're working with actual aggregators like your Realtor.com or your Zillow. So closing is one thing. That's a totally different skill. We have a program for that. We're not going to discuss it today because it's a down the road thing. 2 or 3 months down the road, if we want to get into that other program, we can do that. But we're just going to focus on getting off the ground first. And we already discussed this. SOI dries up. You already know that, so it's not like anything you have to explain. You actually very rarely does somebody like starting so recently as you actually have consistent business coming in like that. So
that was mainly because of the work I had done before. Like the client was a past mortgage client, and he just so happened to call me, "Hey, I need to get a mortgage." And I was like, "Well, I'm not a loan officer anymore. I'm a real estate agent."
Okay.
Would you use me? Yes.
Yeah. So that's rocking. I mean, it's a great start. So we don't have to explain this too much to you, but yeah, you understand that you have to have something predictable. That's a huge problem in business in general. I can tell you this from people that try to start any company, right, is that they come in, they rely on people that they know, their network, word of mouth, and then what they don't realize is it's not a predictable, scalable model. So we like to add in that predictability. And like I said, we have other stuff that comes into the consistent closing and whatnot. We're not going to talk about it today. We're just talk about how we can get you off the ground. Dead end leads. So I want to ask you guys, what does that mean to you when you think of a dead end lead? He's over here smiling like, oh my, I'll draw you a picture, right? No, okay. What is that? What do you think that? Like, what does that mean?
Never going to qualify.
Yeah, just a lead that, I mean, there's issues with it.
Don't have
Sucks,
a
right? I like to call them tire kickers.
Yeah.
Would you agree?
Yeah,
Like,
that's a fair way to put it.
That's how I like to look at it. I know, because we used to deal with those all the time. I've worked on a lot of different models before starting this company, which, by the way, I started 1.5 years ago, so we've been around the block a little bit. We sell everything from working with businesses like yourself to different info products, to different coaching programs. So we've been around the block, right? And a dead-end lead used to be the worst. And I remember working for a $1 billion company similar to yourself. You'd get all those leads in, right? And they were qualified through the internet lead process. And I like to say qualified because they would ask the most ridiculous, simple questions.
Yeah.
And then they would bring them in on like the incentive offer. So now you're trying to struggle to get these people to spend real money with you. And it's just the biggest pain in the ass. Like, sorry, I'm like reviewing all the emotions. but that's what happens, And it's because they just want their sales guys to get leads. So we know that, and that's how we created this process we're going to show you here. But yeah, we don't want you to like waste time with tire kickers. We don't have to get into that because you already understand that. Not having this consistent, efficient follow-up process is usually what we notice is that problem. Do you guys have any type of like back-end follow-up process when you get a lead in, or?
So I have a what's my home worth, tab on my website, and then if somebody goes on there and clicks it, it actually automatically goes into my CRM, and then from there I can put them on a drip campaign like instantaneously.
Nice.
So they start hitting.
What CRM are you using?
It's actually called it's brand new, E-Edge. It's specifically for killer webs.
Okay, so I haven't heard of it. That makes sense. So it's just
Yeah, we use a CRM motivator. Motivator.
And we don't have to use it, but they always push you to, because all this new technology coming from Keller Williams is driven from this edge.
Yeah. So I'm going to ask you a question with the follow-up, because this is a term that a lot of people look at and they do tend to correlate it with the old school principle of let me pick up the phone, let me send an email, right? Kind of what you guys just said. So do you guys have any type of process to where if you don't close a deal or you do close a deal, that you can figure out how to continue to duplicate that process or not make those mistakes again? Do you have any type of market research process set up or anything to?
Not personally.
No.
Okay.
I don't think so.
Okay. So this is going to be a big part of our game. We're going to talk about that here towards the end. But this process is what makes you consistently better. And it's one thing to have a follow-up process like a drip campaign. First of all, I applaud you for even having that. Most people don't even know what a drip campaign is. So what software are you using for that? For your email software?
I don't even know. Keller Williams.
Oh, it's all in one. Okay,
Yeah.
cool. That's great they have that. That's very rare. And it's funny, I remember working for another big franchise where we stopped using Salesforce and we started using their in-home CRM system. And oh my God, it was god awful. It's like I went from this Ferrari to now having to drive this Saturn that didn't even have an engine. I'm like, Flintstone walking it everywhere. So it's great that they have those integrations. It's pretty unusual. So we'll talk about that here towards the end. But then understanding internet marketing, that's usually one of the problems with having to get into this whole lead gen thing. This is a mess. And that's why we come in here, because when you guys try to go at this yourself, or like you say, you're just trying to hire somebody to get the job done, this is a mess, man. It's like there's so many ways to go about this whole freaking internet thing and how everything intertwines. So we're going to set up this follow-up process so you can continue to get better. And a lot of people confuse. There's a huge misconception with people thinking, oh, if I spend more money on these ads, then I'll make more money. But that's not how the platforms work. Especially when you're using Facebook, that is not how Facebook works. And a lot of people confuse the platforms where they say, well, I spent all this money on Google, and the more I spend, the more I make. Well, first of all, they have to have an amazing back-end system set up to do that. But on Facebook, I'm not going to get too into the process, but on Facebook, their algorithm doesn't work like that. So it's funny. They make a lot of money from people spending money with them, but if you dump a bunch of money in at once, it actually works in reverse. It does not work like Google does. We use Facebook because we understand it. I'll let you know, prior to actually getting into the real estate market, we were doing everything for e-commerce. I don't know if you guys know the restaurant chains like 801.
Yeah.
So we did all 9 of their locations. They're actually our first client. We can talk to Chris, so I don't know if you go there often or not. But yeah, so we ran a huge campaign for them. And it was funny because they have a team, right? They have an ads team and everything, which I'm sure Keller Williams probably has something set up.
They're so large. It's
usually general. So what I noticed with 801, we ran their ads because they already have a team. And by the way, Chris did not want to pay me. He's their marketing director. And we actually have his video testimonial. He talks about what we did and everything. But then I went in, I told him that we need to be able to further brand them and then monetize their brand on the back end. And it didn't make a lot of sense at first. But then the next month, month 2, we made them $60,000 from retargeting the new people we brought to their brand. So just so I could show them that you haven't been maximizing your brand and people that are making contact with you. And we're going to do this in a different way for you guys because you can't do it. It's not quite the same process for real estate. But all these best practices and concepts, I don't know if you know, Flex Pro Meals is another big company, another big multi-7-figure company, but they ship things nationwide, right? So it's a totally different type of business model, but we applied all the same best practices, crushed it. And Nathan, he owns that company, and he speaks to us pretty highly. But what we're going to do for you is going to help you guys internally, and it's going to help you online. So that's always a big problem, especially when you start hiring people, because it sounds to me like you're incredibly ambitious and you want a team. So, which by the way is a great way to do it. Just pay them a smaller percentage. But anyway, when it comes to building a team, that's the hardest thing to do. I know that we had to have a duplicatable process when we started building a team under Temple that he was managing, that we could not teach them everything about marketing. It would have taken forever. And I was with the Yellow Pages for years. Sorry, I'm telling you the story. I was with the Yellow Pages for years, and oh my God, they didn't teach us anything. They threw us into the water, and they were like, good luck. Well, by the way, sell a product that nobody would probably want to buy from us because it's digital marketing for the Yellow Pages. So we wanted to make sure that we focused on one type of company, which is real estate, and we can teach everybody what's important to know about real estate to make sure we can help them specifically with the problems they need help with. So we're going to help you internally as you build a team before you build a team. That was a big rant, guys. All right. Everybody need a break. We're gonna take a break. Oh God, I'm a little winded. So anyway, let's go into the next one. So, spreading yourself too thin is a big one. I'm sure you guys have, it's not your first rodeo in business, right? You could probably have some stories for me here.
Sure.
You want to tell me one? I feel like Jason's like, I got all sorts of stories already.
When you have 20 deals going in a month, it's tough to keep track of it all.
Yeah, I haven't had that problem quite yet because a lot of my stuff was, my transactions were, I was making a lot per transaction, so I didn't need as many, the volume to make what I wanted to make.
Yeah. So was that before real estate?
No, that was mortgages.
Mortgages?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So here's the thing about being an agent. I'm not going to tell you anything you probably don't already know. It's like you're your own business owner.
Yeah.
So when you're dealing, when I say spreading yourself too thin as a business owner, you're noticing this. You're now having to wear a lot of hats. Not to downplay what you're doing because you started so recently. Like that's a lot of sales, but in reality, the majority of real estate agents, like you said, anyone can sell a month, right? And sell one deal a month, or anyone can go in and sell like 5 deals a month by getting a couple of referrals. Whenever you're trying to really scale and to create that predictability, it's really hard to be able to figure out marketing, to figure out what you're doing with your accounting, so this way you can actually save money as you scale into a new tax bracket, which we're not going to do for you, God no. Oh my God, no. But anyway, and then figure out all these moving pieces. So when I say spreading yourself too thin, I'm more referring to you having to learn the marketing, you having to learn the tax and all this other stuff.
Well, that's why I initially reached out because I wanted to delegate it to somebody else who's a pro at it.
Yeah.
Like I want to be just focused on relationships with my clients and taking care of their needs and then having marketing, everything else done by somebody else.
You're going to fall over when you start seeing the follow-up process because as you grow as a company, that's where the majority of your money is going to come from. This is like a short-term solution running ads, and that's what most companies don't really get yet, especially in Kansas City. You know, I do a lot of traveling, and most big companies on the coast get that. But your front-end stuff is like a Band-Aid. You want to learn how to use all the back-end stuff. It's going to create a lot of revenue.
So when you say back-end stuff, like, are you saying like keep in touch with your previous clients? You know, is that what you're talking about?
Yeah, and to find ways to do that without a ton of manual labor.
Right.
Because when you start to hire like a call center, or you start to hire all these people, now your margins become slimmer and slimmer and slimmer. So you have to find a way to do that without having to create all that manual labor expense. But yeah, that's your question. So I thought we were going to talk about lead generation. We're getting to it. So that's why I just try to do too many things at once. And it's just not real estate, guys. It's like any business code. So we're not going to talk so much about this. This is, again, a different package. We're not going to go over that. We're just going to focus on the lead gen, get you off the ground. Again, the Band-Aid front-end process, start seeing some leads and revenue come in. Then we'll talk about branding and helping with the sales process, stuff like that later, a couple months down the road. I know you're probably like, I want it all, but you just trust me, you don't want it all, right? So, anyway, do you have any questions about anything so far? Is that making sense?
Yeah, it makes sense so far. I mean, yeah, no questions at this point from me.
So initially, you don't actually use the brand, like my brand, Ray Homes, is not used for to get the leads, right?
It will be.
It will be.
Yeah, we're going to use your page. It's not going to be front and center media running ads to get you leads. That would make us an aggregator. It's where we sell leads to other people. We're a direct point of contact company. So you're going to be the first person to contact those people. Does that make sense? Mm-hmm. When I say using your brand, now I use the example 801. Maybe that was a poor example to use because, we're just starting out. They already have a brand. Right. So I was able to just go in, or like the bigger 7-figure e-commerce companies selling nationwide, they have a brand. So I can see where companies are bleeding. And what I do is I go and I plug holes. I can see an immediate source of revenue. When you start out, it's different. You don't want to start out with brands. You want to start creating a little bit of capital and making sure you can reinvest that capital. And then it'll start to grow your brand very slowly. But then we can start to now scale your brand when you have the extra capital. And we can focus, when you build a team, start focusing on internal systems. But it's one step at a time. That's why we don't focus on the other stuff right now. Can you guys see how this would be an immediate impact to the process? Sure. Mm-hmm. Cool. I haven't showed you anything yet. No, I'm kidding. No, I'm just kidding. This is all really important to know, the back, understanding the business models. So we went over 5 things: lead scarcity, dead end leads, no consistent and efficient follow-up, understanding internet marketing. God, no, don't want to do that. What would you do? And then spreading yourself too thin. So what we want to do is get rid of these things. So here's what we want to do. Lead scarcity, we're going to provide multiple leads every day. This is kind of a no-brainer, right? So the way we're going to do that, we're going to show you how we're going to do that, and it's good that you're sitting down because we can follow. But we'll get to that in a second. Dead end leads, we sort through the leads for you. Okay, this is what makes us really, really different. So we talked before about having all those leads come in, and you're having to do a ton of follow-up. Most of them are tire kickers. Okay, what makes us different here is we provide a service to where we follow up with leads for you. So whenever the leads come in, because again, that's a really band-aid front-end process, because we are going to get them in surplus, that we want to qualify them prior to them ever getting on the phone with you. So our concierge service actually talks to them, qualifies them, and then they talk to you. That's a huge part of our game-changing process. Most companies, if not all companies, don't do that. That's why we begin to specialize in real estate. Not that it's an easier sell because no one does it, but no one does it. So can you see how that would be like a major?
Sure.
Yeah, it's a big part of it. And we follow up on them for you. So we're going to talk about that towards the end, and that's like another part of the back end process. Look like you have a question.
No, I'm just going through it because the company before did something similar to that, where they would like ask general type questions and then boom, you get transferred over to
That's what we talked about before.
Yeah,
like when I was in the big
right.
company. And that's why we did this, because we've seen it. And we're younger guys, but I worked in a lot of different types of companies, and I've been a top performer in all those companies. So what's great about that isn't the money you make, it's the problems you see. Because all you want to do is say, hey, one day if I ever open up my own business, I'm not going to do things that way. But it sounds funny, but like, when you're a dreamer, that's all you say to yourself. But then one day you take the plunge. And what I knew, this actually flew Temple in. He was from California, and most of my team, if you guys ever meet them, I flew in from different parts of the state. And it's because they specialize in something different that I need. And we want to make sure that we can plug the holes that I see in business. So that's how I go about evaluating business when I work with a client, is I like to see where you're at. That's why we ask some basic questions at first, but usually it's a longer application process you would normally go through. And it allows me to see where your holes are. So I can see if your branding's there, we can look you up and see exactly where we can start. Or if you're starting from fresh, then we know exactly where to start. So that's how I go about business, because I've seen it before. Right? But I want to actually address this. So you acquire our 10 years of experience in understanding internet marketing. Now, when I say 10 years of experience, this is Temple and I, and collectively our team. So I have been in internet marketing for 4 years. I've owned this company a year and a half, and Temple's been doing this for a little over a year. But the way we do this is you get all of our experience working with every type of company. Now, we don't just focus on lead gen. That's what has made this so great, is we're going to focus on your back-end process, and not enough people focus on that, but that's the bread and butter of my company and any company we work with, is that you want to continue to make your team better through customer analysis, which we'll get into, and we're going to discuss that. And then our team does all of our work. So, I mean, people like that. The phone call stuff, so that's just a thing. I'll be honest. So here's our entire process in black squares and orange writing. You're really good with the graphics and stuff. So anyway, do you want to, how much of this do you understand? When you look at this, I mean, you're just reading certain things, like what do you understand here? What jumps out at you?
I mean, so this is obviously the high converting Facebook target. Sorry, how are you getting the people?
Great question. So we go into a lot of different types of methods with the Facebook ads targeting. So I'm not going to get super in depth, and the reason why I'm not is something I've learned over the years is a confused buyer always says no. And I'll go into Nextel, for instance, I'll go in to buy a phone, and like they'll keep spitting all this garbage at me, and I'm like, just give me the phone, I will give you money in exchange for it. I don't want all that other stuff. I only want 2 features. Right. So I can get into a lot of the details. I just don't want to overwhelm you guys. But we will go into looking at the different zip codes, different incomes, which you guys have probably done with like Mailers or Zillow or something like that.
So I haven't started. That was one of the things I was wanting to do first, as far as like before I looked into this, was farming my neighborhood, my zip code. That's where I'd like to get majority, just because I live there. I have a stake in the neighborhood.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
here's what I would suggest to do with that. And this isn't anything we talk about, or this is totally one-off thing. My mom owns a company when she first started. This is what she did, right? She owns a bigger cleaning company now, but she would have just some local teen kid or whatever take a flyer and put it on the doors. Doesn't cost hardly anything. Gave her a really high ROI. She didn't hardly pay anything. I don't suggest to go out and make that your primary thing, but you're right. You can go in and do that. What makes this different, and this is why I love this, is that it's trackable. And it's also reversible. So when I say reversible, I mean you can reverse engineer a process. So when we put something in here, we can see how many people we actually have opportunities with. And then from there, we can reverse engineer numbers. Well, people don't understand what I'm about to go really lost in the weeds, trying not to do this. So I actually used to do all this myself, believe it or not, before I had a team. But what we used to do with the Facebook targeting and what we do is that we reverse engineer that number. And then anytime that we need to switch up an ad because we're about to hit a threshold, that's what we do. We have to start putting up new ads because then A, gets stale. Or if you're not rotating, which means that it's like a billboard. That's what most companies do, right? But for us, we're going to see that. So this way it doesn't get stale. We rotate the ads. And if we're going to hit the threshold of impressions, if you hit that threshold, it starts costing you more. So we want to make sure that we're constantly setting up new targeted audiences. And a lot of people will go in there and, oh my God, I freaking want to do some stuff to these people that do this, but like slap them in the face, tell them to stop. But they'll like pick an age group and pick a zip code. And then they run ads there. I'm like, that is the most ineffective way to do Facebook marketing because it's that shotgun thing that you guys hear about. Now, it's not as bad as Zillow or Realtor.com, not to like bash them, but I'm going to because they sell leads to multiple people. That's called an aggregator. That's as bad as like, a monster.com, whatever, or those whatever employment sites. So that's how we do the high converting ads is we don't take that. And we also have lists, which is kind of like one of our secret techniques, but we create different types of audiences based on those lists that we can upload to that. And the same thing whenever you guys start collecting the leads, we start to dump those into a new Facebook audience. So this way we can tell Facebook to start finding people that look like your buyers, but to be able to suppress people that don't look like your buyers. So these are things most Facebook ads people aren't doing. But the thing is we run ads for our own company. And a lot of companies that come in are gonna say, well, if you do it this way, I saw a YouTube video guy, and it's like, but we run our own ads. We run thousands of dollars a month for our own ads, both from our consulting companies to our B2B company to our info product company. And we understand what it looks like to be able to make things fresh and work. But anyway, I'm not going to talk about it. Anything else jump out at you here? God, don't ask me any more questions. I want to bring it
Is like the thank you page, is that more like a landing page or is like?
Great question. We use funnels. Yeah. So, well, we're going to have a combination of two different types of ways we get the leads. But yeah, so a thank you page will either be on Facebook that we use a software on Facebook, or we do take them to a thank you page. It'll be a combination of things. We want to see what works better. But yes, and there's a lot of things we do with this that a lot of people don't do.
So now your lead concierge service, they're calling them before they get to the lead?
Yes.
They're actually not even calling them. And I'll go into that in a second. That's a great question.
They're not calling
They're
them?
not calling them. And there's a reason why. I'm actually sad to tell you about that.
They go
Yeah. Because a lot of people just cannot stand getting drilled phone calls.
100%. 100%. Sweet.
I promise Temple's going to talk too. I'm going to talk.
It won't just be all stories.
Yeah. I just bring in my buddies and my kids to every day. Is there anything else that you that sticks out to you here that is like, hey, I need to understand this a little bit more?
No, I've got a pretty good grasp on it. Okay. As far as kind of the flow of it.
Okay.
What do you think? Is there something we need to understand?
No, I just want to make sure that what you have questions about, I can answer because everyone we talk to is at a different point in their business.
Yeah.
And the last thing I want to do, and again, with the Nextel thing, I do not want to know about the garbage. I don't want to know about.
I'm at that point, like, I'm just a results-based guy. If you're providing me a product that's useful and I'm making money off of it, that's what I want.
That's what we do. Yeah. And that's why it's so fun to talk to people that understand that are established. We usually don't work with startups. And the reason why is they can't really comprehend the fact that you need to spend money. Odds are you might break even on the front end some of the time, but your money's on the back end. And like how to be able to maximize that or how to be able to grow a team underneath you. Like we don't want to work with somebody usually that's newer in the business because they can't really comprehend those things. Not to say comprehend, like that sounds really, it's the worst word I'm probably going to use, but that's why. It's because we have such an intricate process that we want to help you grow a business. We don't want to just generate leads. That's like it's a dying model. So that's why I ask you what you guys want to know about.
Yeah, I mean,
So,
I'm good.
cool. Yeah, sweet. Cool. All right. Awesome. Okay. Here we go. He gets to go now.
That's good.
All right. There he is the baton. There you go.
So I know you want to hire someone to do all this, and you're probably thinking, well, I don't want to know all these things, so that's why I'm hiring you guys. I just want to give you like a basic understanding, just so you know kind of what we're doing on the back end, day in, day out. Rob pretty much dove into this and kind of told you about our list and more of the complicated stuff. The main feature I just want to say is all our targeting is precise, and we're targeting people that are actually actively looking for a home. It's not just, the shotgun method. Hey, we'll just do the age range, the zip code areas, 10 mile, maybe around the house list, and we have them call it a day. We have a plethora. It's like a list of 15, 20 now of actual websites we target that are they're doing consistent traffic. They look at that website a certain amount of times a day. The list goes on and on. I don't want to complicate this obviously any more than it needs to be.
It's called piggybacking in the marketing world. So
yeah.
You guys ever want to use that cool term when you talk to your friend?
But essentially, our targeting is so we're not wasting any ad dollars on people that aren't qualified as much as we can get qualified for a broader audience. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Perfect. So these are some examples. I don't want to be like, hey, we're going to generate a bunch of comments. You guys don't care about that. You care about leads, obviously. Yeah. But I just want to let you know, with our targeting so precise, you will actually get people that want to wait and they'll start qualifying themselves in the comments. So just a little heads up, be checking those for sure. They're going to come through. I just want to give you kind of an ad example, nothing crazy, just so you can kind of get an idea of what it looks like. But I want to focus on this just for a second. So Rob did mention there's funnels. There's also chatbots as well. I'm sure you guys are familiar with those, right? They all work.
Are you familiar?
The chat box?
Yeah.
Chatbots. Yeah.
Okay.
Cool. Thank you for checking.
Nope.
It's okay if not. A lot of people actually don't. But they work. This is what I'm going to tell you guys. They work. So a lot of people tell you they don't work. They do. The thing is, the cost per lead is very high. And it's for several reasons. Most of the time, for a funnel, for instance, when they go outside to an outside source and you don't have a system on the back end qualifying them, and they see an application they got to fill out just to view one home, they're going to bounce. It's going to be a high bounce rate, hence your cost per lead going up. So something with these lead forms that I really appreciate, at least with my system, is when you click the lead, for example, learn more, this will pop up right up top of the ad. It pre-populates their name, phone number, and email, so they don't have to type that in. So one, that makes it easier for them, of course. All they have to do is hit one button. It couldn't be easier. In addition, Facebook's bringing it up. So like, okay, Facebook's bringing up my information. This must be a little bit safer. Also, it's on Facebook. We're not going to an outside website. So they're like, okay, this is all adding up. This sounds safe. Let me just hit this one button. Forget about it. Obviously, look more at the home. That makes sense?
Yeah.
Perfect. So a couple examples of, the numbers we bring in. If you're wondering what these big numbers are, those are leads. And we'll dive more into, obviously, we offer 100 minimum guarantee. But,
you had to tell them?
I know. I had to spoil it a little bit. But yeah, there's some basic numbers. I'm not going to go too much into that. But I just want you to know everything we wrapped up on. We did have a lot of rants. So I just want to make sure. Is there any parts you guys were kind of like hesitant on you don't think would work for you?
What don't you believe in the process? Like, what don't you believe would work for you?
I don't know. I mean, so 100, you say 100 guaranteed leads per.
We'll get into that. We'll put the cart before.
All right. No, I mean, the targeting, I've tried it before. I mean, I've put together a lead or an app before. I mean, so I'm familiar with kind of doing it. I have no idea what I was doing, but I mean, I stumbled through it. So, I mean, I get the targeting piece of it. I guess, what is it? What are you guys putting in your ads that are getting more clicks, so to speak?
That's a great question. So keep in mind, it's always a target that's most important. Obviously, ad copy is important. That's a no-brainer, plus the picture. But if you don't have the right, even if you have the right copy, if you're not showing to the right people, your cost per lead is not going to be there. So it's always targeting is what we do. We really, when I say we have a list, like we have an absolute list of everything my ads managers have to implement on the targeting before they launch an ad. As far as ad copy, there's a couple of tricks that go into that. I could go into and tell you guys, and we could do marketing 101 with ad copy. I still want to bore you guys, because obviously you're outsourcing it.
Yeah.
But
So
go ahead.
I got a question too. When you call these leads and like you're vetting them, is one of the questions, are you working with an agent?
So we don't call them, but yes,
that's right.
Those are one of the questions. I'm actually going to show you all those questions in just a second. Okay. That's a great question. And I just want to make sure I didn't skip over you. When you did do the Facebook targeting or ad copy in general, so Facebook ads, what was it that didn't work for you? Was the cost per lead high? Bad quality leads?
I mean, yeah, bad quality of leads. I mean, I didn't do it long. I mean, I just was messing around with it a little bit. I mean, it was like get people that tire kickers, people that was a 500 credit score, get them on the phone. It's like, every issue in the book would come up.
Absolutely. How many did you bring in, do you think? Just a ballpark.
Oh, probably 8 to 10. I mean, I wasn't on there long.
Okay.
I mean, I probably should have given it more time, but at the same time, I felt like I was just wasting money.
I can understand how you could feel that. It's definitely a lower number to, get started. And there can a couple of things that might have been wrong. Your ad copy kind of pre-framing the wrong, attracting the wrong buyer, that kind of thing. But I'm glad you told me that because that's definitely something that will come up. So I'm not going to lie, these are Facebook ads. So 100 leads coming in, not everyone's going to be ready to go. But that's why we have a team. That's the beauty of the system is you're not talking to those people. So I'll dive into that in just a second. Actually, I think we are about to dive into it. Is there anything you would like to say?
No, that's pretty much it. I mean, we could dive into what didn't work more.
Sure, but that's
not because we've seen it with some Keller Williams offices. Because we've been into a few, and they would talk to us about what they were doing, and a lot of it was that send message stuff and like using Messenger that way. That's not what chatbots are. And when we showed them a demonstration of the chatbot, it was, I mean, they weren't doing that.
So what Keller Williams office were you working
We don't like this. Yeah, and the one I'm referencing right now ended up not partnering with us because they wanted to try it themselves. And I saw their ad after I left because I was like, most offices are going to do the same message thing and they won't use the bot and then leads won't come in the right way. Well, guess what I saw? The same message thing.
Well, what's crazy is like Keller Williams, they don't provide leads for the agents.
No.
I mean, we're the ones that.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
So I understand a little bit.
Yeah.
But anyway, go ahead, sorry.
So this is where the magic happens because we could bring in bulk leads, but I know you're not going to be able to handle 500 leads. That's too many. If you're doing 7 to 10 closings per month, that's just too much
right now,
sitting at the computer. It's way too much. So this is where the magic happens. Is our team's going to do all that for you. So what do I mean by that? Well, these are a bunch of orange boxes. And these orange boxes are. I was like, that's a secret. We're using red. These orange boxes
like
our offices. So we do have a bunch of offices in America. We are branching out to the Canada market too. I'm not gonna lie, it's a good market. But we did partner with one of the top Concierge companies. So with that, we've actually created a custom system. If you want to interrupt me because I'm going over you, just let me know. But we came through and we developed a custom system just for us. So now you're seeing this 1, 2, 3, 4. It seems pretty easy, and it is. But that's what makes it so the beauty of it is it's simple and it works. So essentially, obviously, you're gonna have those bulk leads. Our team runs 365, 24/7, even on holidays, and they contact all leads within 2 minutes. So obviously, we know the minute windows, the ranges, but it's roughly around 10 minutes. I want to beat that. Let's do 2. Why not? And our team will be doing that for you. Any questions so far? Perfect. So,
Irvin, you want to say something?
No, that would be fantastic to have, like, just my old job.
Yeah.
I mean, that would have taken away a lot of headache.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's not just your old job. It's like every big company. I remember, can I dive into it? I feel like an old man, I swear to God. I just worked in a lot of companies and I've done business with a lot of bigger companies. And when I was at the Yellow Pages, I worked with YRC Freight. You guys, it's like, yeah. So called them, started working with them, and it is just mind-boggling how the bigger companies are not doing anything. And maybe it's too boutique, but they're not doing any of this stuff. And maybe it's because they've kind of grown up in an era where they don't have to. But
because their names,
you would think, yeah, when we were running pay-per-click for them, their click-through, it was like running ads for Pepsi. I would imagine like this, what running ads for Pepsi would have been like. But the click-through was like 13% on Google, which is just like, I mean, it's just unheard of. And we were getting leads because we worked on hiring for them. So I used to only work for hiring truck drivers and working with attorneys. And man, we crushed it for them. But their process on the back end was just, it was like non-existent. It was like, I mean, it was just mind-boggling to me. So anyway, let's go. But you're right, it's big companies. That's what I'm trying to get at. It's bigger companies just don't do it. We just don't do it.
So something you will find with us, and I'm sure you already can tell with how much we're showing you already, is we're all about honesty here. It's a big thing we like is transparency and what's going on. I don't want to be one of those people that say, hey, we provide you with these leads, but I'm going to keep it really big. I don't want to track the numbers or things. I'm afraid of them. I'm going to let you guys figure that out on your own time. So anytime you guys want to track those numbers and make sure we're doing our job, our team's doing our job, you can. If you want to get up at 2 in the morning in your underwear and check out that your leads are converting, you get up at 2 in the morning and do that.
I'll send us a picture when you do that.
So essentially, you are getting an online dashboard. In a little more, I'll go into that in a second. But this is where you can see the conversion rates of everything going on in your campaign. So you're saying, I get 100 leads per month. That's great, but how do I track what's going on here? Like I said, I don't want you sorting through those 100 leads, but I also don't want you tracking those 100 leads. Let our team do that for you. So in here, you can obviously see all the leads coming in. This is a campaign that we ran a couple of months. I'm not going to be sending 1,000 leads for the first month. I just want to make that clear. But 1,000 leads come in, 743 responded. 562 interested. I go down the line. You guys can read it. But I do want to point out, something maybe I should just ask you instead of being just kind of ranting here, is what do you think about this conversion ratio?
So this is the conversion ratio to the lead, or to the campaign, so to speak, and that they responded to the ad.
Great question. Yes, it is.
Okay. So 40 to 70%, I would say, is pretty positive from my experience. I think it'd be pretty solid.
So that's not like the conversion rate for like we get the lead.
Hard sales money.
Yeah.
I'm glad you guys said it's not, and we'll tell you those numbers.
We'd be generating millions across the country.
We'd probably be have every agent in the book if that was the case. But yeah, that's a great question. This is obviously contact and responding. Sorry.
No, that's good. I was like, oh my God, 40 sales in $3,000.
So the 1,032 total leads, is that people that have actually clicked on the ad, and then the 743 responded? Is that the people that gave their information?
Great question. That 1,000 is the people that gave us information.
Okay.
So I don't want to count people that are clicking on the ad, because we don't care about any of that.
Yeah.
They didn't care about us. We don't care about them.
That's just click through. That's an old vanity metric most marketing companies would track.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it makes them feel like
so the total leads is actually people giving up their information.
100%.
Providing.
Yeah.
Giving it up.
We don't care about vanity metrics. You're gonna notice like companies will dish out vanity metrics, especially that was back in the website days. He was a programmer back in the day, so like he dealt with writing code and all that crap, whatever. And like when it came to like that, but anyway, they used to track like impressions, click-through rate, and just all of that nonsense. It's just nonsense.
Yeah.
Especially with Facebook. Oh my God, if you were running some Facebook ads, you saw the cost per 1,000 was like, you probably saw it was between $14 like $32 per cost per CPM. It's insanely high. But that's just how Facebook works. That's what people like don't realize about the platform. But I'm not gonna get into like platforms. But anyway.
100%. So anything else that questions I brought up before I move on? Perfect. So something I want to address is we're not calling these leads. So we're definitely not sending them letters in the mail or anything like that, but we're texting them. And that's done for several reasons, because let's be honest, this is Facebook ads we're running. They're sitting at home, they're scrolling through their phone, they're with friends or with family, maybe just chilling out on the couch after a long day. They don't want to pick up their phone from an agent as soon as they hit submit. They don't want to do it. So what they will have to, and respond with better, is a text. And so with this concierge service, we send them a batch of 5,000 leads. We send another batch of another 5,000 leads. The first batch, they called them within 2 minutes. The second batch, they texted within 2 minutes. And the ones we texted was when we saw that 47% responder ratio and actually, diving into the qualification process. So that's what we do. And yes, if they're working with an agent right now, that's one of the questions we ask. Obviously, what's their price range? What they're looking for? Do they have a lender? All the stuff we need to know as an agent, we know. So it's not like, hey, we're qualifying them, say, hey, are you looking for a house actively? And they say, yeah. Say, perfect, let's send you over. It's like, hey, yeah, I'm looking, but I'm also like looking for this month. I need to move in ASAP. Those are the people I want you talking to. If you want 7 to 10 closings per month, you can't be talking to tire kickers. It's gonna wear you out. You're gonna leave real estate faster than you got in. So what we want to do is make sure that we're qualifying these 100 leads that come through 24/7, and that every lead we send to you is hot, ready to go now. Any lead that, and I'm getting a little ahead of myself, any lead that needs time, maybe they're shopping around, I don't want you talking to those people. Even if they are interested and they need 3 months, I still don't want you talking to those people. We will talk to them. We will follow up with them. We'll represent you and your brand. They're gonna contact these leads as a, that's pretty cool. Yeah, they're gonna contact you, your leads as a member of your team. with your local phone number as well, of course.
So all
your
your text messages come through as it's urban, as opposed to XYZ company.
It comes through as one of Urban's employees.
Okay.
So it's even better.
Wait,
Makes him look good.
wait,
Yeah.
wait.
Kind of adds a little bit to the.
Urban's over here like, oh well.
So yeah, you're going to seem a lot bigger than you actually are, which is a good thing too. It helps with the branding, which we kind of talked a little bit about. So I mean, we got screenshots of these. We could say, you guys get the process. But I don't expect you guys to be walking around with that computer, closing deals, looking at how your ratios are doing. So you're gonna have a mobile app. And in that mobile app, that's where we're gonna track and give you everything you need right off the bat. So you'll have all your leads, you can browse through them if you want. But as soon as the lead is hot and our team's like, okay, this person is ready to go this month, let's pass them over. That's when you're gonna get a push notification, they're gonna pop up as interested. And then that's your lead, it's game time. Do what you do best. You see like that one-on-one personal connection, they're ready for it, they wanna talk to you. How does that all sound?
Good. Sounds like you see my last name on the paper.
Well, in that case, we have something to say.
So yeah, and with this, we're about honest, like I already said. And let's be honest, I mean, let's just the elephant in the room. If they're representing you, you want to make sure they're representing you correctly. So these screenshots weren't like, hey, can you send us over? You can actually see all these conversations. So when you have a lead and they're interested and you click on them, this is a picture, I can't scroll, but you can scroll down and there'll be a part where you can look at the messages they're sending. So you can see
Follow the log.
exactly.
Conversation log.
We'll summarize it for you. So you guys, on the go, you can see, okay, blah, 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 all this, good to go. But if you just want to make sure they're talking to your people right, just, that security check, you can absolutely do that.
Don't drive yourself crazy with it.
Yeah.
Don't like pick it up in the middle of the conversation, like let the process happen. But
Right.
Yeah, absolutely.
But it's good to have an idea before you call them and have that
Kind of see where they're at.
summary of information. Say, hey, just following up with whatever.
Absolutely. Yeah, and yeah, the great beauty about this process is I only want you talking to like 7.5 and higher. That's when they're ready to go. That's the people I want you talking to because that's going to boost your conversion ratio. Makes 7 to 10 houses a breeze. I think you said 1,000 leads before. So last thing I want you to do is talking to 7,000, 10,000 leads to get 7 to 10 closings. Right. This process will make it so much easier for you. Yeah. Do you guys have any questions so far?
So far.
Perfect.
can you guys see this as like an immediate impact to the process?
Sure.
For you guys?
I think so. Yeah.
Absolutely. I know you're a CRM, you technically don't own it and they own it.
Right.
But most CRM, 99%, I've never come across a CRM that doesn't. Usually has the ability to hook up with, I don't want to overcomplicate this, there's a thing called Xavier, and it can hook up our process to a CRM. And every CRM I've ever witnessed, from old school to Line Desk to new school like Follow Up Boss, is able to integrate. So we can integrate and help you guys out with that. And we'll send all these leads, sync it up for you so you guys can have that on the back process. I don't want to take away if you have something that's working. Let's keep it.
Well, it's brand new for me. I'm just, like I said, I just got it in October, so.
100%. Then we can help out with that as well too, down the line.
Are you familiar with Xavier?
Not.
Okay. I just like to put this out there. Don't freak out about it, like having access to something. It's just a bridge. So it allows a connection between software. It's not just for CRM to CRM. It does other stuff.
Yeah.
And I kind of feel like Keller Williams, I mean, they're smart about what they do. Like, they push their own CRM because they're trying to control all their own data.
Which is good. It's good.
So, I mean, but if you ever decided to leave Keller Williams,
Right. Yeah, I do the same thing with a team here. We have a CRM of our own. We put everything in there, and we keep the data. So can't blame for that. But yeah, no,
you don't have to use it. But a lot of their technologies, the benefits of working at Keller Williams.
It's just like it's an ecosystem of technology.
Yeah,
I mean, everything works off of one another.
Yeah,
absolutely.
This is a little different ecosystem.
Yeah.
Well, I know Rob has some key points you wanted to touch up on, so I'll let you.
Not really. These are them. I mean, these are the 6 in a nutshell. We went over everything. This is it. Like, we just like to sum it up in a recap. This is it. This is everything that comes into the program. In case I know you guys have been following everything really well. So you're gonna get the real-time notifications, a dashboard, instant syncing with the leads, the cell phone, everything coming in, the mobile app, team notifications. I mean, you guys are gonna get everything in just under one umbrella, right? So.
100%.
just to sum it up.
Yeah, back to our boring corporate boxes, but here's the entire system wrapped up. Before we move on, I mean, is there anything that wasn't quite clear that I did a poor job explaining?
No, not for me at least. Followed it pretty well.
Yeah, 100%.
We try to make it pretty simple.
We tried to.
And by we, Temple does a great job.
I want to say more of you, but
yeah.
but yeah, just summarize it even more for you guys. Obviously, we know what the big three does. I'm not going to bash them too much. It's pretty easy to tell what they're doing. They could generate a bunch of leads. You sort through those, try to find the gold in the shit. Excuse my language, but pretty much. Or you could have a system that's working 24/7 for you, because it is. The ads are running 24/7, and our team is running 24/7. So while you're sleeping, we're qualifying deals for you. Essentially, we're going to generate you a lead. We're going to bring you the business. We're going to qualify it. We're going to make sure you profit. Go ahead.
So yeah, question I had was, and with some of the bigger, like I went to a seminar for this guy. He's a big time agent on the East Coast. One of the things he said is, I can turn my leads on and I can turn my leads off at any time. Like if I go on vacation, I can turn them off, and I know when I come back, I'm going to turn them back on, and here it comes.
And he's got a good back and process up.
Yeah. Is that something that can do here, or is it like, you guys are constantly calling? Or
we can definitely slow it down if you want to go down to Hawaii or something, chill on the beach for a little bit. And, we can turn off, turn on anytime you guys want. So I don't want you to think like,
right.
Hey, I'm taking a trip. Like, no, you can't do that anymore.
Oh, you went into business not to work?
Yeah.
No, we're going to put you over.
We want you to enjoy that money from the 710 clothing. Yeah, anytime you want, I just flip the switch and the team hops off it, and then I flip it back on, the conveyor belt starts running again.
Okay. Have you noticed though, like, does that kind of hurt the process?
No, not at all.
No.
We do it for us too. I mean, the platforms work really well. It's not SEO. Again, something people used to be familiar with hearing. It's not a ranking process. It's like a faucet process. So your buddy that was telling you, that's actually how it works. It's a faucet. You turn it on and off whenever you want.
Yeah.
So.
100%. So these are numbers you did want to know about, so I put them in here for you. So this, like I said, this is kind of that number that we track how many people show up to the ad. I don't want to focus too much on that. 80-85% of people that show up to the ad, they actually send their information over. From that information, 47% actually start the qualifying process and respond with our team and engage in the process. And then 10 to 20% is actually the money. That's where the hardcore closing comes in. That's what you guys ideally will be seeing. Obviously, every market ranges. That's our range we fall under. That all clear?
Yeah. So and does that matter? Like, say the first 100 leads, you're saying that we should expect 10 to 20 of them to close?
That's a good range. And that's
Is
a
that
good question
good
as well.
Is that a good sample size, or is it?
It's good, but I do want to address this. This is real estate. So let's be honest, not every person's like 20 people are going to be ready to go this month.
Right.
6 can be ready to go this month, and then 2 happen at the end of the month, another 4 2 months later. But that's the beauty of it, is our team is handling that for you.
Right.
So you only talk to people that are ready to go now.
And the sales process is a different ballgame. So again, that's something that I told you we're not going to go over today, but if you want us to come in and work with a team or put together a system that we have for you guys, or we need to grow a team, we can give you guys that process to increase your closing percentage, because this is great. Like, we can be great at ads, but we've already gone over this. The ads are a very small part. It's the front end band-aid. So you have to have your internal stuff figured out. So that number might be lower if it's an internal thing, because we can't control that. But if you do let us come in to help out with that, we can increase it from the inside too.
So that 10 to 20 is you guys in there, or is that just?
It's a combination. Sometimes we don't need to be in there, but yeah, sometimes there's occasions where we do have to go in and help offices.
Yeah.
We don't close them, but we help the office.
Yeah. Not everyone needs it. There's a guy in Detroit we just talked to. He's a team of 10, and they're just rock solid killing it over there in that market. So they didn't need that help. They have a high closing rate as is. But if you do need that help, that is something we have on the back end. But we don't need to talk about that right now. Let's focus on getting some closings this month.
Right.
But yeah, from that, I don't want to dive too much in this. You guys can, you've been to the big three. You know how it goes. This is usually the devil's proposition, as I like to say. So you guys get your share leads. Obviously, the competitive pricing depends on your market. Also, is your budget as well. Not really fair in my opinion, but hey, everyone has their own boat. Obviously, no exclusivity in your area. No guaranteed leads in your market. They lock you into 6 months, sign your life for 6 months with no guarantee. No follow-up process, because obviously this is where it's critical, plus the qualifying as well. You guys already know how that goes. I want to show you what we have to offer. Is that all right? Perfect. So we have a couple different packages. I want to lay them all out on the table just so it's transparent to you guys. So we obviously already make sure you work on the lead agent. What does that mean? That sounds like a kind of a pompous title, but I want to make sure that when people think about buying a home, you become top of mind. I want to make sure that, hey, this is a guy that had the team that was great customer service. They reached out to me in the most polite way. They were very, human to human to me, for lack of better words. He was great with me. I want you to be, hey, I see his face everywhere, all over my local market. Anywhere I go, hey, you know that guy? I know that guy as well. I want you to be everywhere. And we'll make sure everywhere with their ads, we'll make sure customer service on the back end is great as well. With that said, we do have a customer data analysis, and this is something we just started implementing. We've been seeing great results with. This is actually Robb's idea, so I don't want to kind of steal his thunder, but is there anything you want to say on that?
Yeah, so this is actually one of my favorite parts about the process. I'm all about making sure that we can fix the internal stuff. So what this does is we're going to send out emails to both people that you guys did not close that came through that were good prospects and people that you did close. And as we do this every month, it's going to help us create a more duplicatable process with what's working. Because a lot of time, what you're going to notice, especially in sales team, you guys notice this in an environment where there's like a top producer and nobody can do what he's doing. Right? You guys ever seen that? Well, there's no surveys being taken place. Like a good company would go in, they're going to want to figure out based on the way he thinks how he can duplicate it. Because if he tries to teach somebody, he won't be able to. Usually people that do well, I've heard the saying, if they do well, they can't teach. I believe in that a little bit, but I think I could do well and teach. But no, anyway, we'll go in, we create surveys so you can figure out why they bought, why they didn't buy. So we can also follow up with them down the road. This isn't us like you guys calling and rating, it's an email survey, but we'll be able to compile data on a running Google sheet. We'll be able to see the common themes. This way we can start addressing those common themes. And as you build a team, this is like even more important, but this is going to be great for even just you and be able to kind of reflect and personal development, things like that.
Absolutely. With that said, yeah, we all have the ads that convert. I mean, that's no brainer. I don't want to waste too much time on this. You obviously are hiring a team, so you could go out and hire, an advertiser, quality control team to do the outreach, all that, 100%. Or you could have that come in all one set package and not worry about the taxes on the back end from that. So that's what you're getting with this essentially. It's a running business model that's already proven and working in other markets, and you can literally say, hey, I want to flip a switch and have a whole team built underneath you just like that. And that's what we're offering you. Obviously, with that team, we're offering you 100 leads minimum guarantee because we know where stuff works. You're probably, okay, what is that guarantee? Like what, you cover the next month ad spend or something? No. We're going to give you 100% money back. No questions asked for that month. We didn't hit that guarantee. Is that fair enough?
That being said, as a business owner, I just, gotta put this out there because that's thousands of dollars, right? So we want to have our skin in the game too. That's why we do this. But that being said, if for whatever reason does fall below a guarantee, because things can be seasonal sometimes, that we just want to make sure that if you're making more money than you're spending, that would you still want your money back? Does that make sense? Yeah. So if you're spending $3,500, you fall short, but you still make more money, because here's what's going to happen. Like that's why we included this, because we started noticing that things are seasonal, and I wanted to include that because sometimes if you have a high enough volume, it's like at bats. If you get enough at bats, you're eventually going to hit a home run. Well, I want you guys to hit more home runs with less at bats. That's why we included that. So for the seasonal stuff, if we give you less at bats, which are the leads right here for the guarantee, but you're still making more money than you're spending.
Right. So Mike, on these, are we dialing in certain purchase price or certain
home values?
Yeah.
So you're not working $60,000 purchase prices and then stuff like that. Where,
and don't get me wrong, it's ads, so sometimes you might get a crappy, but it's not a consistent thing. Yeah.
And do you find certain purchase prices to be better to target? I mean, obviously, when I think about it, like person buying a $400,000, $500,000 house probably has, for the most part, an agent, or they've worked with somebody before.
Usually
they're not relying on the.
To me, they're in the mover up category where, for me, example, we bought a house 170, sold it for 220. Now we're moving up to the $300,000 to $400,000 price range where I've already worked with an agent, so if that agent's any good, they've stayed in contact with me. And I guess his question would be,
is there a certain?
Oh, sorry, you want to?
Yeah, I want to address that because that's a great question, and that's a question we actually get a lot. So what we find is working with the average market value of that area, it makes the process the easiest. It makes it the easiest to close deals. That's a no-brainer. But I want to tell you how far we can push it, because obviously, I mean, let's be honest, we all kind of want to expand a little bit. So we keep in mind, for every market, there's a different average value, right? So for here, we have an average value for San Francisco. The average value is like, almost close to 1 million, if not at this point. So what we're doing is being able to provide a guarantee based off the average market in that area. We do push it. So for example, we have worked in markets where the average market is like around 400, 500. We'll push it to 800, 900, and it still works, and we hit our guarantee. But the moment this starts breaking, we offer different packages and different setups, because you got to change the whole model, is when we push into luxury. So as soon as we're pushing the luxury market, that's a whole nother system. I don't even want to complicate or confuse guys, because we're nowhere near that right
I don't know if I'd ever want to go into that market.
Yeah. It's totally different ballgame.
Then you never have to worry about that. Yeah. So yeah. And I offer this. I know as a business owner, he hates offering it. But as you guys know, Robb bought me out. He bought me out for this system, so I developed it for my agents. And I've never once not hit that guarantee. So that's why I'm confident in offering.
And so for the monthly $3,500, that includes the Facebook cost.
Exactly. Yeah. It includes a team, our expertise, and our team that's qualifying leads for you. You're pretty much buying a whole business. So we offer all this. Go ahead.
Oh, and that's a 12-month contract?
Absolutely. Yep. And we offer that $3,500 per month.
Sure.
We do offer short terms if you guys want to, kind of go on a couple of dates with us first. We offer the 6-month at $4,000, same exact system, same exact guarantee, everything we saw. Then we offer the very short 3-month at $5,000 per month, everything we saw.
Let's say you start off with a 3-month, and hey, things are going great. Love what you guys are doing for us. We want to continue the relationship. Do we get better pricing if we say, hey, let's
Great question.
12 months or whatever?
Great question. So we just signed on a guy in Colorado Springs, and he asked that question. He's like, hey, because he signed on to 3 months. Like, can I sign on to the 3-month, and by end of month 1, it's going really well, and I know this works. Can I just sign on to the 12-month and stop the 3 months? You can do that, 100%. That's a good question. Okay. With all that said, I mean, which one do you guys feel more comfortable moving forward with?
I don't know.
Yeah, I think it's something we'd have to discuss. I mean, we would have to work it out as well, because, I mean, to me, this is really driving business for Urban, and then me and Urban partnering together for the loan piece of it. I mean, have you had people partner up like this before? Loan officer.
That's usually how it works, especially with these higher packages, because typically, like, the VPs aren't going to go in there and buy the ads for you guys. So typically, that's how it works.
So I mean, what's your experience with that? I mean, what's the best setup for that? As far as, maybe you can't really tell us what's going to work best for Urban and I, but maybe examples of, does everything flow through him, then come to me, so to speak?
Yeah, correct. Yeah, so it all, and in terms of how we charge.
Charge and just how we would run it. I mean, it's a real estate ad. It's not a mortgage ad. I mean, that would be a different ad set, I would imagine. So I mean, do I have that correct? Is everything we would want to flow through Urban, and then and go?
Or it would be better to have both of us contacting.
That could get kind of messy, in my opinion. So I would just kind of suggest, like, you guys can work out amongst yourselves, but my suggestion is to let you be the man on cereal box. Like I kind of used the example earlier. But if you guys do want to continue to call together, you can do that.
Sure.
But because eventually, it's just my opinion, from one business owner to another, is that you get really great at your systems, what you're doing when you make a phone call, so then you can duplicate it, and that's when you can start hiring people underneath you. So that's why I would suggest that, just from a duplicatable standpoint, and a growth standpoint.
Honestly, like, if that actually works, you probably won't be getting out of the mortgage.
I know that's
well, that's why we started. That's why I stopped working with different types of business, and I started, Temple. I flew him out and a few other people out here, because this is something Kansas City does not have, and that is something that I notice if I see a hole in a market. We like to maximize on that.
So let's say that were to be the case. Let's say we wanted to do this as agent, and lead wise, can you send leads, half the leads to Urban, half the leads to me? I mean, I'm just thinking out loud here of ways to do it, or, you know, again, this is something we would have to discuss offline, so to speak, to figure out what we would want to do, but is that a possibility to do it that way?
That's a great question. Yeah, we can split the lead, absolutely. Most people, because usually when we have a bunch of agents sharing the same system, they're under a broker.
Sure.
The broker is kind of like helping cover for the cost, and that way we do more of a Shark Tank style. I don't really want to implement that system because they could get quite a sequence between the two of you. So yeah, we'll figure it out and split that. That's not an issue.
That's a possibility as well. I mean, I don't know. I mean, I see that obviously the cost benefit of 12 months per month. I mean, that's a substantial discount. I mean, that's the only.
So do you see, what's the first month, do you see usually immediate results?
So we get leads on day one, absolutely. It's literally, it's just a proven thing we turn on. It's that easy. However, keep in mind, obviously you got to adjust to the system, and that takes 30 days to
and we have to build it. So
yeah.
Okay, yeah. Just make sure we have that expectation. So yeah.
Right.
And then, you know, as we're building it out and getting up and running and going through the process, I mean, who would be our point of contact as we're, you know, running into roadblocks or anything like that?
Those are all great questions, and I love those questions because you're actually thinking ahead of like future obstacles that come.
Yeah.
So we already have all that built out for you. So what will happen is the person mainly running your ads will be like kind of direct point of contact while we're building out, letting you know how it's going. That'll most likely be me. Usually I delegate that to obviously an ads manager, but as Rob is kind of sitting here and we're sitting here, we want to build a personal relationship that will last a while. I'll be doing that for you guys. So I'll be your direct point of contact. However, we do have, you know, assistants on staff. Her name is Emily for one of them, and she'll be, you know, kind of your communication for all the miscellaneous stuff. Like, hey, I got a new listing coming in. Can we add this listing? That kind of stuff. We'll push it on to her, let her deal with it. I'll deal with the big stuff with you guys. That makes sense?
Yeah.
Cool.
She's a nice person.
She's nicer than us.
Yeah. What other questions are stopping you guys from starting?
I guess, you know, the biggest hurdle for me is like giving that commitment, you know, like, you know, that 12-month commitment, like,
Yeah.
And it'd be great if like the first month it works. Like, well, this is good. You know, boom, let's keep doing it.
I close 4 deals.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it is jumping in with those feet, so to speak. Would be the hesitant part on it. I mean, I like everything I see for sure. I mean, the follow-up system, so we don't have to do it, is huge.
Do they? And there's no like try 100 leads tactics, like see what we can do with these and then go from there.
That's a great question. With how long it takes for our entire team to build it out, it's not worth it cost-wise. It's just a negative.
Right. Okay.
And so what's that process look like to build it out? Like how long would that be?
It takes 2 weeks.
2 weeks.
Yeah.
And so when you say build it out, are you creating a business page for him?
Yeah.
Are you getting access to all his Facebook stuff he already has, or are you just starting from scratch?
You'll get a link for that.
Yeah.
When you get started, you'll get an email.
Yeah.
How to do that.
Okay.
So do I have to do that myself?
No, we just need access.
You basically give your admin rights.
Yeah, not even admin rights because we don't want that information because that's liable on us. You give us advertiser rights. So all we have access to is the ads, not your.
So you use it like my Facebook business page.
Correct.
Does any of this go over to Instagram or any other platforms or anything like that? I mean, is that
we tested that out. Instagram is a lot younger of a demographic audience, so it just doesn't pan out as well.
Okay.
Great questions.
That makes sense.
Well,
most people don't know you can run both in the same way.
Yeah. I mean, I've just, like I said, I looked into it, and there's so much information out there. It's like overwhelming to some degree, but I know you can do it on both.
What did you guys work in else in the Kansas City area?
So we are in talks with a very big team. I'll be honest with you guys. Obviously, can't disclose that, but we are kind of talking with them and having that process start.
Not the Keller Williams thing I talked about earlier. We don't go back. After we show something, if I see that happen, like I do not. It's not worth it.
But we are in talks because obviously we do have that, exclusivity on the back end.
Sure.
And that's by radius, the exclusivity thing. So if we like work with one person like that branch out there, and let's say we're to give us the rest of their agents across, the greater Kansas City area, then we would do it by a smaller radius. So we would still work with other agents outside of that radius into different areas. But if they were to give us all their agents,
So yeah, I guess if we wanted to concentrate in 1 or 2 or 3 zip codes or something
would be
like that.
exclusive.
Okay.
As your markets. That's what we say lead agent, like those markets, your face will be everywhere.
So right now, all your zip codes are available.
Yes, because I flew him in from California.
I literally flew in like last month.
Yeah.
Right.
So all the markets are available. Does that include price points in those areas? So so if he wants to focus, 300,000 or 400,000, but a bigger team says, hey, we want that higher bracket, or we want the 200 and below bracket.
And I'm not, and
Yeah, the higher bracket stuff is difficult.
it can be harder, and sometimes the lower, the first-time home buyer, we talk about longevity, they're going to be coming back to you.
Yeah.
That's also a really good question. This guy has really good questions. But we usually don't get like higher level questions like that. So, but essentially, we don't offer an exclusivity on, or we do offer, exclusivity on your area only, and it doesn't have to do anything with price point. So I know you're a newer agent, so I don't expect you to start and say, hey, I'm going to work with 300K the whole year. That's just going to be my go-to. If you want to switch, you can have that. You have that zip code to yourself. Yes, technically, if we're on Facebook, it actually wouldn't matter. I'm just going to be honest with you guys, because people that are looking for a 300,000 house are different from people that are looking at 800K house.
I'd almost 1% minimum, like don't send me anything 150 and below or something like that.
Is that doable?
Yeah. Any listings you have, we'll just take them over and market them for you, obviously.
And then, so if this is your system, he brought you in for the system. Where did you specifically run the system prior to that?
Great question.
The Kansas City area?
So I was just all over America. I ran ads myself, and now he has my ad process, but I ran ads, so we everywhere.
Okay.
Miami, some of New Jersey, Atlanta, Detroit, as already mentioned. I stay off the West Coast a little bit because it's a different market. I don't want San Francisco or anything like that.
It is a different market.
Yeah.
So this package, is this per zip code?
No, this is whatever zip codes you want to work in. Obviously, you guys need to have listings there that you're actively running.
And that can be a threshold too. If we notice that you guys are trying to spread yourself too thin,
Sure.
your budgets, we'll let you know. Like we might just tell you like one's enough, like we can't spread it out of that zip code, but we'll let you know. And we'll let you know after you get started, because then we'll put it in there if we notice that, hey, you want to be more than one because the market's too small, we'll let you know that.
And when is the monthly payments due?
Great question. As soon as we start today, and then every 30 days after that, every month after that.
So the only month the guarantee wouldn't apply would be month 1, because we're putting it together and then we launch everything, obviously. But everyone's after that. So.
Well, I think we would have to talk about it a little bit and see how we want to arrange it. I'm definitely interested. I'm not afraid of spending a little money.
Yeah,
for sure.
Do you recommend it for a new agent, like trying to get started out?
I'll be honest with you, usually don't work with new agents, but it's not because of their expertise or anything like that. Yes, they are newer with closings and they don't really have that higher of a closing rate, but you prove they're not in that bracket. But ideally, they just don't have the money, and they have a limited concept. They don't know that they have to invest in their business to grow their business. So it's not worth the time talking.
They also don't have the ambition to have a team. So anytime I hear that off the bat, it's a good fit.
So you think this is very geared to team oriented?
What I know is that if you're looking to pull the trigger and you were to pull the trigger today, there's really no reason not to. If you're interested, is because there's no risk, and that's what makes us different. So that's why we don't go out and hound, we don't go out and hound real estate agents, because we don't have to. There's not a risk, and that's why I brought Temple in. When I saw the process, I saw that it works, was consistent. It was a no-brainer. So we don't have to go out and hound people. So there would be no reason not to get started today, because there's no risk involved. That would be outside of 1-for-1, I guess, technically, but yeah.
But you guys know where we are now, so technically you come with pitchforks and all that.
Well, it is Missouri. Don't challenge them. We're not in Cali anymore, so. Anyway, so that's why I would say we can get started today. There's no risk involved. If you're interested in what it sounds like, we can do that. It's just a matter of which one you wanted to start with.
Sure.
So which package do you want?
So you're saying the guy who started out with the 3-month package, when he wanted to switch, so then after that it became $3,500, he still had to pay $5,000 until he wanted to switch.
No, that's not one.
Yeah. And he hasn't switched yet. He literally just signed on a couple days ago. But he was asking, that's why I was bringing that up. He's just saying, hey, if this works really well, and obviously we know it will, after 1 month, and I'm like, can I just pull the trigger on the 12-month and get those savings? You can cancel that 3-month and switch it out for the 12-month instead.
So essentially, as far as like putting the least amount of skin in the game, that's probably the way to do it is investing the first 3 months $5,000.
If it goes the way we want it to go, then we just convert over the phone.
Right. And I mean, I don't want to ask you guys to marry me on the first date either. I know it's a big commitment. I'm all for it. I'm looking to get married, but if not, you have a lot of lines. I understand. So if you guys do want to go more on that first date route, this would be the best bet for you. I want to be honest and like straightforward. You guys can be straightforward with us. 3 months. That's all we need to show you that this works. You're not going to become filthy rich off it. To be honest with you, you're also not going to be poor. But you will see that what we do works. It's proven. There is actually no risk. It's no fluff or anything like that. And it will serve as a future benchmark for business moving forward. So what I ask is you give us those 3 months, just 3 months. I mean, what's really the worst going to happen with this going on? If you see what I can do is 3 months and you get half the results or that you think you can get with us, I guarantee you'll give me a shot at bigger opportunity down the line.
So essentially, we would be risking $5,000. Because you said that guarantee is not
with the build out.
Is not. Yeah. I mean, if it doesn't work the first month, you're not getting the leads. That's still.
You're going to get leads in month 1. But yeah, I hear what you're saying. Yeah, that would be the only month without a guarantee.
Right.
But yeah, you will get leads. Yeah.
Well, you want to let's talk about it.
Yeah, I
see
mean,
how we want to.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think I'm ready to say, boom, let me sign right here. But I mean, I'm moving heavily towards it.
Yeah.
Which option are you leaning towards?
I would say the 3-month option.
That's kind of what I was thinking too, in hopes that, like you said, turn it into a long-term deal. What's your goal? Like, what's your goal? What's a 5 years, forever? What I mean,
I don't want to get divorced. I'll be honest with you.
Yeah.
but yeah,
it's happened before. It will eventually. Sometimes.
Yeah, I mean, you guys aren't going to be real estate forever. It's just business. But yeah, at least a couple of years, I hope you guys stick on until maybe you want to hire in-house and maybe that works better for you for some weird reason. Yeah, I want to focus on making sure I show you results in 3 months. That's my biggest thing.
What would your anticipation be month 3 of closings for, like, at the end of the day, that's what it's all about, is closing deals, and that way he can continue to pay you and pay himself, and I can reap the benefits from doing.
From a business perspective, this is how I view anything that you put your money into based on what you're getting per home. At the end of the day, it doesn't matter if you're only closing 3. Sure. Okay, because I can tell you what I would hope that you would close based on how we can reverse engineer the KPIs. But at the end of the day, you close 3, you're making money.
So here's my situation here. I'm gonna be capped fairly soon.
Yeah.
So I'll be getting the whole pie.
Yeah.
So that should help.
The whole pie, as in like the full commission on every deal. That's gonna be fun.
So that's why I'm a little bit intrigued to try this.
Yeah.
Because I'd much rather be doing it while I'm capped than when I'm not trying to ramp up the.
Yeah.
Well, let's rock and roll. Let's do it. We have nothing to lose. So let's do it. We welcome you to the family.
I'd say there's a good possibility. I still think we need to kind of figure out the way we want to structure everything for us, as far as, because if it's flowing through him, there's chances that I'm not going to get every client that comes through on the mortgage side, they may already have a mortgage company they're working with, and there may be a situation where, let's say he closes 4 deals off of this, I get 2 of them, then the cost per side in this would maybe
you're not making as much per transaction.
Yeah, I don't. Yeah, exactly.
But you guys you for sure are going to partner in the process.
I would like to.
Yeah, I think so.
All right. So all these are basically like non-issues, right? You guys already know you're going to partner up. So we already know that's going to happen, right? So that's why I'm saying, like, if we get started today, you get time to figure that out.
Good.
Not to sound like the hard closer or anything,
No,
but
right.
I mean, I just don't want to leave here today with excuses that are literally non-issues.
Sure.
So not to again sound like the hard closer, but it's the truth, you know?
Yeah.
And sometimes that's what it takes, is somebody to just say, you guys already know you're going to do it. You already know you're going to work together. You already know you're both interested. You already know this is the right time. So there's really no reason not to do it.
Yeah, I just want to figure out like the splits, you know.
Sure. Absolutely.
To see how much I'm going to have to carry each month, you know.
Makes sense.
That's really what I want to figure out. I'm sold on this. You don't have to sell me more than that.
Oh, I'm not trying to sell you anything.
I'm
Yeah.
What I'm trying to do
gonna
is
give it a
this.
shot.
Okay.
Yeah, just figuring
Depending on when I should do that, you know.
Yeah.
Let me ask you this. How soon would you want a campaign up and running? You know you're about to hit that point. So how soon would you want the campaign up and running?
I mean, I don't see any reason why not. I would say, honestly, maybe mid-February, end of February, because we're kind of starting to get into that hot season, you know, as far as you said, seasonal leads. I'm sure you guys generate way more leads once the weather turns nicer than when it is, you know, 15 degrees out, snow on the ground, nobody wants to work out.
That's why I brought them in now.
Yeah.
Because I understand that.
Yeah.
So that's why I'm saying, you know, February is going to be your time. Again, another non-issue factor, right? Like, there's no reason not to get started now, because we won't even have the campaign up until mid-February. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So if that's really what you're looking for, and you want to get, you know, ahead of the curve here.
Also, too, I wouldn't mind seeing what my tax refunds look like, because that could change what I would do on that.
Yeah.
If it's big enough, I'm just going to go ahead and do the 12 months.
And that can always be changed.
I don't see
So,
yeah.
So that's what I'm saying. All these things that we're thinking about. I know I buy things too. You know, I like to buy things I really like. So that's why I'm sitting here telling you, like, all these things that you're bringing up are non-issues. And again, I have to be like the hard closer, but you know, we don't chase people down to do this. And if we sell somebody else, that's it, right? So I want to get you guys started because there's no reason not to.
Yeah.
That makes sense. So can we welcome you to the family? Let's do it. Go, bring it in, man. Bring it in for the whole thing. You ready?
Please let us have a few, you know, maybe, I don't know, let's go grab a drink or something, talk about it a little bit. And maybe.
Well, we can even leave the room. You guys could like take a look at this, evaluate like what makes sense. Because sometimes you just need to stare at it. Honestly, these slides, when we have these slides up, you know, so I'll go to speaking events, right? And I'll do speaking events and literally have these cool slides and Temple helping me with the slides, and like nobody looks at them, right? They look at me. And I know that maybe you guys haven't had the chance to really stare at it and really see what it comes with. So we can leave the room if you guys want to think about it. And then we'll come back in a few minutes and we'll go out there and grab a coffee. What do you guys?
I was going to say, I could really use some water.
You give me that excuse.
Yeah.
All right, cool. We'll go out there real quick. We'll stop. I don't want to record you guys talking about what's going on. Let me stop this here.
So you would need to do 2 deals.
Yeah.
A month. So we're trying to discuss, you know, he needs to do 2 deals a month to just break even
Yeah, pretty much.
on a 50-50 split of this.
Right.
At the 5,000.
At the 5,000. At the 5,000. Yeah.
All right. That makes sense.
Yeah.
That's a nice deal. And keep in mind, these numbers you're projecting are without all the customer data analysis. You're going to get better as a person in the business as you start to see that in the data. So the emails that we send out for that survey.
I mean, is there any guarantee that we get 2 deals?
That's really on you guys. We can't guarantee you guys are going to close something. All we can guarantee is based on the staff we already have. We know what the ratios are.
Yeah.
And I mean, I'm not a mathematician, but that probability is kind of sexy. So 2 deals, and because that's 2 deals too, like you guys are sharing that revenue. Yeah, it's pretty much a no-brainer, right?
So what if we were to say get it started like March 1? When would we, so we would start March 1 would be the month 1.
Correct. So we'll build it out now, we hold it, and then we actually launch it March 1. If for whatever reason you want to wait March 1 for the campaign to actually go live, so you won't pay us again until then.
Yeah, I'm just thinking for like financially wise, like, working over the $5,000, it'd be easier for me if I wait till I got my tax refund to do that.
Okay.
Which should be soon. It should be soon. I just want to
We'll
know.
split
I
it,
just
right?
want to know. I just want to know, exactly. Because I'm 100% commission, employee, so I have to kind of,
Yeah, I mean, for me as well, I mean, I think it's something both married and families. While we are the owners of the business, so to speak, I mean, it's still, hey, honey, spending
exactly.
$2,500 this month.
Sure.
For the next 3 months to
Add another daycare.
yeah
Yeah.
to the mix. So I mean,
Yeah, I hear you.
I mean, that's not to try to give you all these rebuttals to
Right.
it, but at the same time, these are
It's real life.
real life. And is it? I'll be honest. I mean, price wise, was I anticipating this kind of price? No, but at the same time, do I understand the value in it? Absolutely. So I don't know that today I'm like, $5,000, $2,500 on my end, or however we decide to do it. I'm like,
Right.
Is the price too high for you?
It would be too high if we don't see results early. That's my fear. My fear is not month 1, 2, or 3. It's like, it's continuing, and
well, yeah. I mean, I guess price is I think that's the issue at hand, really. I mean, because being new to the real estate business, am I going to close enough deals in the 3 months to cover your portion or all of it, however it works out? I mean, that's real life. I mean,
Right. Yeah.
I don't want to, 3 months down the road, now I'm struggling to survive because I haven't converted enough of the opportunities. I guess that's always the fear.
Anything else? Or is it just that? Is it just a converting? Not to sound funny, I'm just curious.
No, I think so.
I think that's probably the biggest fear is not converting quick enough,
Because I mean, it is an upfront deal. I mean, starting out, he doesn't have, we don't have the capital, so to speak, hey, we tried this out, move on, so to speak.
Right.
And there's more. To me, it feels like there's more risk on our end, being where we're at in the business.
Is there anything else, or is it just like kind of where you guys are at, not sure if you're gonna be able to close the deals coming in?
I am confident if they are legitimate, qualified leads, and I get to this point with them, I'm going to close them. I firmly believe that.
Well, see the difference in confidence? This is what we're talking about here. So the question is, you're going to do some type of lead gen. Like we already know that, right? Whether you leave here, don't get started, you do something. So, what company is going to deliver this level of transparency and sophistication? Right?
Right.
I feel like you know where I'm going with this, right? So if you know you're going to spend money with them, you might as well do it with a company that's going to offer any type of guarantee, put their own skin in the game, okay? And to be able to actually qualify the leads the way you're going to do it. So if you're going to spend money with any company, I think you guys are, from what I'm hearing, you want to do it with us anyway.
I guess maybe it's just the timing for in a couple more months, I got a couple pretty big listings right now. They close, boom, there's 20 grand. You guys need whatever to get started. Yeah, here you go. Let's do it. Mm-hmm. Where, I'm coming out of the winter months right now. So, I got a few closings, but it's not like a huge amount, where I'm like,
Right.
Doesn't work.
Like when you get a tax return.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. I hear you. Okay.
I would say.
I mean, that's income I don't count.
Yeah.
So it's like,
I can dig that. Okay.
that's why I was kind of wanting to, maybe use that as my, to do this.
I don't think we're coming into this like, hey, we're just coming to talk about it. I mean, you guys go through this and wasting your time or anything like that. I think we're real interested in doing it. It's just coming to that conclusion, so to speak, how we want to do it. I guess.
Right. I mean, is there a number? I mean, is there any, like I was saying before, your guys' cost to build it out up front is why those numbers are there. Is there any alternative solutions to those? Like, if we do, I don't know, what would be a number that you would be comfortable?
$1?
Yeah.
I'm spending per month.
Yeah. Right off the bat.
I don't know, probably 1,500.
1,500.
Yeah, on my end.
From your end. So we're not like huge.
It's not a huge difference.
Not a huge, $500 a month off essentially, but it's a 12-month commitment.
Yeah.
That's the scary part.
All right. So here's what I do. I can tell you when to do it. It's really just like a monthly thing. I understand the scenario. Like, obviously, we have families and you wait for the tax return. I know you want to do it. So I'm going to give you guys an offer to meet in the middle. Like I said, we have other people that are already willing. We're aggressively pursuing Kansas City. So I want to make you an offer and say yes to it. We can get started on it. Okay. So we can't lower the price. That's one thing we cannot do because just for the fact of expenses and when we break even on these accounts, I'm going to let you know, this might be like TMI. I do not break even as a company on these 12-month agreements until month 5. So as a company. So we are forced to play long-term game. We encourage 3 months because I break even after the first month and a half. That's why we encourage that, because it's easier for you and it's easier for us as a company. Not necessarily for Temple, but for me. So what I'm going to do for you guys, if you want to do a 6-month agreement at $3,500, I'd be willing to meet you in the middle if you got started today. Because I don't break even until that 6 month. So we would want you guys to start seeing money before that, so this way you could upgrade.
So 6 months at $3,500.
Yes, you get started today.
So what is that person?
10 months.
Same guarantee.
It's 10 grand.
Yeah, so it's 35 times 6 is 21. Shouldn't need a calculator to do that, but just to make sure.
Well, I would have. So, can we walk you into the family?
I would like to think about it for like a day and a half.
Yeah, can we get this offer, let's say.
It expires Friday.
Right. Well, I'm going to be honest. I'm not like this car sales guy, and I usually don't jump into these meetings. The team doesn't even have the option to shorten contracts. That's why I want to give you that option since I'm in here to do it today. So if you want to do the 6 months at $3,500, we can do that today, but we're not going to offer that after today because there's no reason not to do it. I just want to help you guys, put you guys at ease. But the company does not make any money until you guys go beyond that 6 months. So we can't offer that after today, just to be completely honest. And I'm also helping you because I know you want to do it. I know you're going to do it. We're just waiting for certain scenarios, but they're all non-issue scenarios.
And the other one was 6 months at $4,000 a month, right?
That's the originally priced that.
Yeah. So it's not a huge difference, like.
But it's an extra house and a half.
I mean, it's up to you. I mean, if you feel like we need to really work out some stuff, which I think we kind of do.
I think so too. I mean, I'm hoping this doesn't even issue. I want to do the whole thing.
I know you do.
But you know how I'm trying to protect, and I don't know if I should run it by my wife first. She gets back tonight. I think. She's in Canada. Can you give us 24 hours?
I can, I just can't hold on that offer because I'm meeting you guys in the middle. If you had met with Temple, which is typically how this would have worked, or any of the reps that I have, then this wouldn't even be on the table. So, I'm just like a special thing, mainly because you have a referral from Jeff, and I already met with Jeff. So that's why I'm willing to do it for you.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie, I got a little off guard when you offered that on the table.
Well, yeah.
Didn't know that was an option.
That's not an option.
Accepted it.
Yeah.
And what's your guys' thoughts on? Are you thinking what's the longest you've seen someone close a deal?
Sorry
about that. Oh,
unless Siri
Is that your answer?
has an answer, I don't know. But obviously, it's all dependent on the agent. There's not much we can do on that end. We can bring the best numbers possible, but if your closing ratio isn't there, there's not much we can do. From your closing ratio, I wouldn't worry about that. However, to answer your question, not kind of skirt around the fact, we don't work with newer agents, so it's not an issue. Longest we've had was 2 months.
Remember, these aren't referrals; these are new cold leads coming home. So that's why it is.
What do you think?
I like it for sure. For me, it's really the money thing. I mean, I'm not gonna skirt around it. I mean, I would personally like to be in a stronger position in my business to say, like you said, if it works, it works. If it doesn't. I mean, I know you guys are confident. I mean, it's your product. I mean, you're supposed to be confident in it.
Well, I wouldn't be doing this if I didn't break even until month 6. So I wasn't confident in long-term relationship. So
it's just, like I said earlier, so we're taking it on.
Well, I'm willing to put my skin in the game if you guys are. So.
Can I ask you guys this?
Yeah.
Obviously, you guys want to wait, so you're a little more expensive in your business, right? It's running a little more. But may I ask how long you've been in business?
So that's kind of not complicated, it's just kind of a weird. So I was internet lender for 5 years, and then I went to kind of a combo self-gen big bank lead system for a year, and then I've just been with Fairway where it's all self-gen since August.
So not to cut all those numbers down, because that's a big experience. Let's just cut it down to 5, just for the point.
Sure.
If it's 5 years and you guys are still not ready financially in your business, or feel ready at least, because we can all do whatever we want, to expand and invest in your business to grow it more, can we agree if we don't start today, nothing's going to change?
Sure, but it's a different business model. 5 years is all leads fed to me, so to speak. And I understand that's what it's similar, but I didn't have to pay for that. It's part of the package, so to speak. I mean, I get it. I mean, like I said earlier, you got to invest money to make money. Is this the time for me to do it? I mean, that's my hesitation. I mean, really.
I would say there's never a right time to do it. And obviously, I'm not gonna lie, I want you to get started with us.
Sure.
But you're either always gonna be too old or too young or not have enough money to do anything like not just this, but just anything in life in general, whether it's moving somewhere new or whatever. It's all about taking that leap of faith. For example, meeting Robb and then having him like buy my agency and flying out to Kansas City from California, sunny California, didn't sound too appealing. I'm not trying to offend.
I was just out there.
Yeah, not trying to offend, but it didn't sound too appealing. But I took the leap. It is obviously, as you guys know, you guys are definitely modeled with me. You guys have taken that leap many times before. I can assume that most of the time panned out, right?
Yeah, it was uncomfortable.
course.
Yeah.
So yes, this
That league was without pre-kids though.
That league was
Yeah, I
also
have-
without a guarantee.
Yeah.
100%.
Well, the league wasn't going to cost me money. I might not make money, but it wasn't going to cost me. I don't know. I mean, honestly, I'm kind of to the point now where, I mean,